Oops, lovely. All right. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, people are talking about our last show of Keith and the Girl, the one we just did with Oscar. What do you think of that? People are excited to hear. They can't wait for last week on Keith and the Girl when we sum up all the guests and tell the behind the scenes. So people are going to like that. It's in your VIP package. Make sure you're part of that.
Actually, since we're speaking about the last show, we post a picture and information about every episode on social media. And what you're going to see right now, what I just saw is a bunch of umbrellas as a comment. People are posting an umbrella. And if you want to know the reason behind that, you got to listen to Q&A in your VIP package as well. And I didn't think that would catch on so quickly, but that was fun.
Astro Khan says, hey guys, so if I ever show up to your Airbnb bleeding from every orifice, followed closely by a neck tattooed meth head, for the love of God, could you please call the fucking cops for me? And also...
But what do you say? You know what I mean? Now the cops are at your house and you go, I don't know, she's bleeding from her vagina.
Well, also, she says, if my partner is missing in a strange place and you take me to meet the cops and the cops pull you aside to speak about the situation with fucking out me, could you maybe ask them to stop? Maybe come get me if that's cool? Thanks.
That's true. That's true.
I love the VIP package. Make sure you're part of that. Let me mention Hydrant. It's a new year. How about a new you? Start fresh. Stay hydrated. Chemda, you know about Hydration Nation?
Oh, it's my favorite place.
It's important. Well, Hydrant is going to help you out. Hydrant is refreshing drink mix powder made with 4 key electrolytes: sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc. Use real science. They use vitamins A, B6, B12, C, D, turmeric, ginger. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love it, send it back for a full refund.
There are people who are trying to get turmeric seriously in their diet so much. It's kind of like a really popular thing right now because people are recognizing some health benefits to it. And they're just adding it to everything. And I say, I don't want all of my food to taste like turmeric. So maybe this is a little bit of a better way to go.
I love it. And we have a deal for you. Get 25% off your first order. Go to drinkhydrant.com, HYDRANT, drinkhydrant.com/KATG. Enter the promo code KATG at checkout. That's drinkhydrant.com/KATG. Promo code is KATG. 25% off your first order. I'll tell you one more time. drinkhydrant.com/KATG. Promo code KATG. Save 25%. Thank you, Hydrant, for helping save lives over here. Chemda, I'm a big fan of the OMAD Club. You know that, right?
Yeah, I see you every morning.
That's right. Join OMAD Club now so you can join us this Monday. Go to keithandthegirl.com/OMAT, OMAT to sign up. If you're confused what I'm talking about, all the info's right there. If you're a VIP member, speaking of which, get a discount or even a free pass, keithandthegirl.com/VIP. You'll see your options right there. Okay? It all makes sense once you log in. In fact, today's guest is a fellow OMAT club member. The big news the other day was supposed to be the celebration, if you're a lean left politically, of owning the House of Representatives, the Senate, the White House. But instead, we had people storming the Capitol, and that became the big news. Well, I do want to.
They're peaceful protesters,
right?
So let's just label them correctly. With guns.
I had a little
are attacking
time.
The press.
Right. I had a little time to process what happened. I want to talk about it. And who best to talk to about it but an interior designer, ladies and gentlemen, Betsy Helmuth. Hello, Betsy.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Betsy, politics. Go ahead.
You know what? Whenever there is a crisis, be it COVID, the insurrection, or we call it a protest, whatever we're using here, the one thing you can be sure of is that you are safe at home. And if your home is not comfortable, like I have a feeling those rioters have pretty busted up homes because they don't feel cozy. Who wants to be outside in the morning, outside the Capitol in January? Like just be at home and on your couch. I could make it comfortable.
This is
their
cool. Like
lair.
you can tell by someone's personality how shitty their inside of their home is, right? That's like one of your powers.
I can tell with their outward manifestations. For instance, I had a client who hated going home, so he just stayed at Starbucks every night until it closed. That is a guy who is unhappy, deeply unhappy, right? With his home. He just didn't feel comfortable there, yet he felt comfortable in the leather seats at Starbucks.
They do
And
clean
certainly
it
there
every
could
day. So
Right. And he had just bought this amazing apartment in Jersey City. So I have a feeling that these people, whether they're caves or bunkers, they just might not be cozy enough.
throw a
What do you
picture
guys
on the
think?
wall.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I get very nervous speaking to Betsy because right before the show, I measured everything behind me, made sure it was 57, 60 inches from the floor. A lot of people don't know that, Betsy. A lot of people don't know that. They think you have to hang things high, hang it eye level like a museum, right or right?
I am so impressed. You must be referencing my book over there. I think I see you turning the pages right now.
I am a big fan, of course. The book, as is the name of the podcast, Affordable Interior Design. Same with the website of the same name. I see a commercial on your website with a big time billionaire celebrity, right? Congrats.
Yeah, all that glitters is not gold, Keith.
Explain.
So I was okay. Well, how I got that commercial, I was essentially in a spotlight because I'm a small business and I used a specific credit card from a bank, right? I use Chase Inc. credit card. I'm actually really in love with their credit card and I'm on year like 8. So they had me in a business spotlight. And when I was doing that, it was just a little thing at a client's space. I overheard the producers talking about a big commercial they were shooting with a famous billionaire. And I was like, whoa, I was a huge fan of his. I will not reveal the name, but it's not hard to figure it out if you check out the commercial on my website.
Right.
So anyway, I said, are you talking about, I was just such a huge fangirl. And they were like, yeah, we're shooting this commercial in a few weeks and we need a small business to feature. Would you want to be featured in that commercial? And I was like, oh my God, does this mean I'd get to meet billionaire? I was like, yes, definitely. So fast forward 3 weeks later.
Did they tell you have to act like things aren't going to work out until you get a credit card in the mail?
No, I'm supposed to look pretty cool. Like I've been using this credit card. Like this billionaire is my client. Like we're shopping together at the store in Tribeca, which I'm affordable interior design. If I go to Tribeca, I'm like lost looking for the Bed Bath and Beyond, Right. So me being at this fancy boutique in Tribeca was already somewhat of a leap, but I can hang. Sure. I design for people of all different income levels. And so there we go. So fast forward, I'm in my trailer, commercial day. I go to set. I'm meeting this guy. I'm so nervous. He's just as amazing as I thought he would be. He looks the same. And he was talking to me, just not making eye contact, but that's okay. So they immediately
Where was he
throw
looking?
us in.
Where was he looking when he wasn't making eye contact? Because I've experienced this a little bit. And what I noticed is people looking around and behind you to see if there's someone better to talk to. Is that what you're getting?
Well, we were the only 2 people in the commercial. So there was nobody better. But I think I just wasn't interesting enough. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're supposed to be doing these things together. And so one of the first shots we do is they want me to go up to the cash register and pull out my card. And I'm nervous, right? This guy is like, I've been watching his TV show for years. I am a fangirl, super fan. So I'm like shaking. They want me to use my real wallet, which is like, not expensive. They want me to use my real credit card because it's Chase Inc. and whatever. So I pull it out of my wallet.
So that it looks legit when you take it out of your purse. We don't want you fumbling with a fake credit card. Use muscle memory.
Well, and that way it has my name. I guess they didn't make me a fake one, but I really use mine. So mine's a little scuffed up, but they didn't care. Like it looked great in the commercial. So I pull out my card. This is great.
Not only can you get the billionaire's name, you can also get her credit card number off this commercial. This is great. What a great idea.
I had to put my thumb over the last 4 digits. But yeah, if you go back to the commercial, you might catch the first 8.
Such high security. I put my thumb over the last 4. They couldn't make
I thought they'd give me like one of those fake cards like you see on TV.
Oh yeah,
You know?
like the ones Chase make with the machine that they have to make credit cards. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
I know. And they did have some backup wallets, but I guess they liked mine. I don't know.
I
So
think they forgot. They're like, let's use yours. Shit.
Well, I was so nervous and excited. I was just like, whatever you want, tell me to jump, how high.
Right.
So I'm like at the cash register, going to buy this thing with the billionaire right next to me because he's my quote unquote client. And as I pull out my credit card, all these coupons fall out for tampons, toothpaste. I clipped out coupons from the paper. You would have thought like a dead rat had fallen from my wallet. He was aghast and he was like, you got to put that away. So anyway, we had a good day on the commercial, but there was no connection. Like in between takes, we would be sitting on set and he'd pick up something because we were at a real store. So he'd pick up a candle and say, what do you think about this candle? And I'd be like, oh my gosh, the aroma is great. You know, I could definitely see this in an entryway or whatever. Ugh, I could not live with this scent. He'd reply, you know, we just didn't jive.
Okay, he did a thing where you pick something up and like, we hate this, right?
Except he's tricking her. He has his opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's tricking me.
Yeah.
And he's like he picked up a blanket and it's, you know, that red, yellow, blue blanket that they show in like beach houses. That's fancy. It's expensive. It looks a little Ralph Lauren. I'm affordable interior design, so I don't even know the name of that blanket. He picks it up and he's like, what do you think of this blanket? I'm like, I like it. You see it a lot. And he's like, this is a special blanket. He was tricking me all the way along.
Right.
Like
and he's not necessarily
he's
not an interior designer. He works with businesses, but he has nothing to do with these products, right?
What's funny is that he's negging her on stuff that he's finding in the store.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even like, you like those flowers on your blouse? It's, hey, what do you think of this thing in the store? I can tolerate it. Oh, you must be racist. Excuse me?
Right.
Like how or he's not even leading with his opinion on it. Like, I hate this lamp. What do you think, Betsy? He's like, what do you think? Like tricking me. And then he'll immediately contradict what I say. So I was like, you know, at the end of the day.
Does he say, I'll write the answer down first so you don't think I'm cheating? What do you think of this lamp? And it's shitty. Now you say, and ta-da, the answer was shitty.
I think when you're a billionaire, and I wouldn't know yet, right? Yet.
Sure.
I think you know a little bit about everything. So I think he thought I had bad taste and he was right with every answer. That's the vibe, right? Is that I was small potatoes. I had tampon coupons. Like, what's my problem?
Right.
So the commercial turned out great. But I realized we didn't have the chemistry I thought we would have because I thought we were besties from watching his show.
Yeah, you were ready to leave your husband. This was amazing. Mm-hmm.
The thought crossed my mind. Mm-hmm. Not bad looking, but I digress. So the day ends, right? And before he runs out, because, you know, he's out like a flash, I say, would you take a selfie with me? So he takes a selfie with me and I give him my card and then he just walks away.
Okay.
And the end, right? I'm never going to hear from this guy again, right? I'm baiting you now.
The way things are fucking going. Wrong. I did hear from him. Fuck.
Wrong.
You're tricking us.
I absolutely did hear from him. Yeah, but you guys didn't fall for it like me. Time after time, I fell for it. Okay.
Well, yeah, I got to admit, you set up a pattern that we picked up on. So, yeah.
You guys are very quick. Yeah. So, cut to 4 months later. You know, my life has moved on. He's a distant memory. I still watch his show every week. Let's be clear.
But you mourned your connection or potential of. Yes.
Mourned the connection because I really thought I don't know what I thought it could be, but it's just an opportunity that I don't have every day, you know? Mm-hmm. So I get a text at 1 a.m. and it says,
you up?
Something to pretty much. It says, buying an apartment on Park Avenue. Don't know which one to pick. Will you pick it for me? Meet the broker this week. Well, now, I don't know who that is. Like, I feel like I'm being punked, right? Because I don't have his number. I gave him my card.
Right.
But I'm not thinking of him right now because it's been 4 months. So I'm like, who dis?
What a move though. Like, even if could a regular person do that? like, hey, I'm gonna buy a house. Yeah, I saw you 4 months ago. I'm gonna buy a house. You want to pick it out for me? And you don't have to prove that you're making a down payment, right?
And
I'm
I
just getting
hated
you excited.
everything you liked. Like, we didn't gel at all.
Right.
You should pick my penthouse. Like, what?
I got too
So
many to
anyway,
think. Yeah.
and I have a lot of client experiences. I've had thousands of clients, from the Starbucks guy to hoarders to famous people, millionaires, all this stuff. This guy was next level, and that was a next level text. So anyway, so I said, who's this? He told me who it was. He said, I have like 72 hours to pick this out. Will you pick it up for me?
Is this a game show?
Yeah.
I felt like Cinderella. Like, it wasn't midnight, it was 1. But I was like, could this be real? Like, I'm pinching myself. Is this my fairy god billionaire? So I meet with the broker like right away, because again, I feel like I'll do anything. Like, sure, whatever. And plus, he's going to pay me to do this. He's like, I want you to design it after you pick it out. So I
Do you
go
play
meet
it
with
cool talking to the broker? You're like, hey, I'm supposed to see the place. Did he tell you that?
She knew what I was, she's like, these are the 2 places. So she'd been briefed by, I don't know.
A lady that doesn't really know
But
what
I
she's
show up
doing
on
is
Park
going to call you,
Avenue.
right?
So you went.
Well, I don't really know what I'm doing. Oh, that's what you meant, Keith. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. We've already established I'm a little slow. So anyway, so I went, and one was vastly better than the other. One was like a duplex on Park Avenue.
Oh, don't pick that
which
one.
means
He's
2
testing
floors.
you again.
Right.
Don't
Right.
fall for it.
Oh.
Get them both.
Yes, that's the trick.
I actually I guided him that I really loved both. And he's like, well, is it a good deal? Are these good deals? And I mean, it was either 4.5 million or like 5.7 million. I don't know a good deal.
You should be like,
right? I live in a
it's
studio
not a good-
apartment in the West
it's
Village.
not a good deal, but I do have a coupon that would make it a good deal.
Right.
But if you need some tampons, have I got a deal for you? Yeah. So it went like that. And then he's like, I want you to design it. And at this point, I hadn't met with him again. It was all through text. So we hadn't even talked on the phone. And I'm telling him which place to get. He wants me to design it. And he's like, I need it done in 3 months. So I meet him the day he closes with Chase, of course. He's closing with Chase. So I meet him the day he closes. We look at the apartment together. He gives me his black Amex and his social security, because I have to set up all the Wi-Fi and the cable. So he's like, here's my social security number. Here's my black Amex. And he's like, you better spend a lot of money on this. This isn't an affordable project.
The hell?
And then he leaves. Poof. In his black Suburban. Gone. And yeah. So I spend the next 3 months like a baller. Right. And so on my podcast, I'm podcasting as I'm doing this. And so I'm like kind of revealing what I'm doing each week. Like my mind is just blown, right? Like this week I'm choosing from hand knotted carpets from Tibet so they can get through customs in time to be here in 3 months. He owns a furniture company. So I was custom designing furniture. I mean, I shop at IKEA, Target. I mean, I can do design within reach, but that's a reach.
Mm-hmm.
And for this guy, I'm like custom designing, I'm drawing furniture. I mean, it does feel like Cinderella if you're an interior designer to be given carte blanche. And I said, I'd really like to show you what I'm doing, because I make concept boards and floor plans. I really want to run by you because I'm going to spend a lot of money. And he's like, don't show me anything. If you can't trust your gut, I can't trust you either. And he said, I only do business on a handshake. So I'm not going to have a contract with you.
What?
I'm just going to trust you, because if your handshake isn't honest enough.
Is that how his agent and manager work as well?
Is that how he says businesses on his TV show? You signed
He says
something?
it on his TV show. He says
okay.
it on his TV show. Yeah.
Okay.
And he said it to me. So I was like, well, this
Do you think that Chase gave him the ink card on a handshake? Because he gave you his social security number and a black Amex, a black card on the first day. So, okay, that's a handshake, I guess. Does he
Maybe
mean
black Amex does the hand?
Yeah.
Maybe black Amex does the handshake, because
Okay,
I did
so
the chasing and there was a lot of paperwork.
Did you shake hands? You made sure to shake hands, right?
Yeah. Oh, I touched him.
Okay.
I was excited.
Okay.
This guy is right in front of
She
me.
used both hands like Bill Clinton. She like really gave it a good shake.
And this was pre-COVID. So,
Right.
no masks. Can you
Isn't that
imagine?
something? All the business that can't get done now because you can't
He's
touch.
dead.
Yeah, poor guy's homeless
I
now.
heard you talk about that the other day, about how guys can't do business unless they touch. And I just left a client today in Yonkers, and I wanted to touch. Like, I want that culminating experience. We weren't even like besties, but I needed to like seal the deal with some kind of physical touch. Isn't that
Betsy,
weird?
no one's besties with the COVID virus. I say we all take up bowing. It's respectful, it's nice, and it's very lovely and COVID free. Let's
I
bow.
did.
I need the elbow bump, Chemda.
I did business with somebody yesterday. I blew him a kiss when we were done.
Did you stick out your tongue a little bit? Like,
He can't see that, but he can see my hand up to my mask. Mwah.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, it was just like the wildest thing that's ever happened to me.
Right.
And I've had, I've lived in New York, so I've had a lot of wild things happen to me.
Was he pleased
But,
with what you picked?
So there we go. So 3 months later, he tells me I'm coming into town on this day, which happened to be like the day before Halloween. And he's like, everything better be ready. And I knew the timeline, but it was my kid's Halloween parade at school. But no way, I was going to have everything perfect for him. I knew him so well and all the businesses that he owns that I had like the kitchen stocked with the cleaning supplies from the company he owns. I had little candy dishes that had his favorite candies from the company he owns because I called the company, what does he like? I thought of everything. This is his New York place. So I got first edition books about New York that I just love. Like I dropped some cash because that was the brief. Dropped some freaking cash.
Would you, not to be crass, but would you look at the receipts of things you bought and just masturbate? Was that exciting?
Man, over the course of almost 16 years that we've been podcasting, every year at least, Keith reveals one fucking weird thing he would masturbate to. It's
exciting.
This
like
one isn't even the worst. So yeah.
Maybe you clean up the masturbation with the receipts. That to me feels. But as a affordable interior designer, I started my career working for a high-end interior designer, designing for famous celebrities as an intern, right? Mm-hmm. So a fly on the wall. And it does not interest me. The reason I'm an interior designer is to make people's lives better. And when this is your 5th home, you don't even notice. You don't even really, you're not deeply impacted by what I do. My client in Yonkers, my client in Dobbs Ferry later today, when I change their pillow, they're going to have a different experience on their couch. They're going to sit on that couch 5 nights a week, and I'm going to change their life. And that's what I believe. And that's what I know the power of design can be. For this guy, he's gonna not give a shit.
But he might change your life.
So that's not
what happened at the end.
Well, and it's fun to spend that money, but it doesn't resonate with me. I'm from Missouri. I grew up poor. That's not my jam. But I can play. I can have fun. So at the end, so he doesn't come the day he says. He comes like 3 days later. He doesn't tell me he's coming. I'm fast asleep. My phone blows up 2 a.m. I hate this place. What the fuck did you do?
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, why would you ever choose XYZ item? I need you to immediately return XYZ item. Why did you pick this wallpaper? I can't imagine why anybody would pick this wallpaper. It was abusive.
He goes, I showed you the candle I like and the duvet.
Well, and he wouldn't. All along, I was really asking him, I said, I have a $30,000 piece of art and I have another piece that's $50,000. I want to show you this because we cannot return it. Like, I'm commissioning this right now. Nope, don't show me. I trust you. Use your instincts. I want to be surprised.
Surprise.
Right.
Surprise. As from another one of my favorite podcasts, Struggle Bus, they say, surprise, bitch. Yeah, surprise, bitch. I thought it was gorgeous, and I had taken professional photos. He had told me it was going to be in magazines, all this stuff. And instead, he asked me to return every possible item. But you can't send a hand-knotted rug back to Tibet without incurring some cost.
Right.
And so...
you have all this shit in your house now?
I wish. Also, all this stuff could not be returned. And so, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but let's get into it. If it can't be returned, do you know what he did? Like, I feel like I'm going to throw up telling you this.
He threw it outside.
I don't know what he actually did with it, but he denied the charges. And because he has yeah. And so the vendors called me and said, hey, were you scamming? Hey,
Oh my God.
we can't trust you. Hey, he's returning this thing.
Oh my
You
God.
can't return it. And so it makes me, I seriously am like hot.
And you signed for this expensive stuff, obviously, right? Yeah.
And so then it ruined all my relationships with these vendors because everything he couldn't return. Yeah, it was like, but these aren't, it's not Target. So these aren't vendors that I know intimately, but they were vendors I've been working with every day for 3 months, making custom art, hand knotting the rug to our size. It was devastating. Absolutely devastating. So then I go back on my last day, like I'm doing my last round of returns. Anything I can do, I am doing. The doorman, who I become good friends with because I've seen him every goddamn day for 3 months, says to me, he's like, so you're wrapping up today? And I didn't tell him about the drama. I didn't tell him the guy didn't like, I was just like, today's my last day. I won't be seeing you again. He's like, so you're wrapping up today? I was like, yeah. And he's like, you know what? You're going to be back. I said, what do you mean? He's like, these people are never happy. He's going to hate it and you're going to be back to have to fix it. That's how these people are. Everybody in this building is the same way. They're going to want you to keep working on it.
Oh my God.
And that had already happened. I didn't tell him because, first of all, I was devastated. Second of all, I'm not going to go airing my dirty laundry to the doorman. But also just the kicker, had I been paid, this was a handshake. There was no contract. I didn't work the way I normally work at my firm, which has contracts and agreements and all this shit. Had I been paid? I'm trying to get you guys.
You didn't get paid at all?
Hadn't gotten paid.
Wow.
So I told him, I had saved him. I spent nearly $500,000 on the project. And he had saved almost $100,000 with my discounts. I gave him 100% of my discount. And designer discounts can be significant, from 20 to 40%. So he had saved over 3 times what my bill was. And he refused to pay me.
At all?
And I'd been working non-fucking stop for over 3 months. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not going to pay you. I didn't like it.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. Well.
And you're having trouble saying his name? Say his fucking name. Sorry. Okay.
Well, let me tell you what happened, because I would not stop. Are you ready for this? All of a sudden, he went from like my mentor, and I truly considered him like, I didn't go to business school. So I watched TV shows to learn how to do business. He was a mentor to me. And so I didn't stop. I consulted lawyers. And then finally, I thought to myself, I'm going to try one new strategy, right? My husband was also a super fan, and my husband is a TV writer. So he really doesn't like reality TV, but he loves this show with me. We both watch it. We're both hooked in. He couldn't believe when I got the commercial. I was like, I'm going to have my husband write him, because I think this guy doesn't respect me because I'm a woman. I think I need my husband
to shake his hand.
Shake his dick, shake his hand. I don't know what's going on. But I was like, husband, I'm just going to pull my last card. I need you to write an email to this man and tell him how disappointed you are. Because every night my husband would say, this guy's I can't believe he went back on his word. My husband saw how hard I worked every day and night, that I would answer his texts at 2 fucking a.m. My husband saw how I didn't eat, sleep, or drink anything but this project. And then my husband saw how he went against his word. And so my husband is very vocal. And I was like, you can write, and he's a writer. So I'm like, you can write a passionate email. So my husband wrote
the subject, chicks, man.
I told him to really, I told him to really play up the bro card. I did, because I'm like, I've done everything I can do. He doesn't respect me. I mean, this is all I was pulling at straws. Like I said, I'd consulted lawyers. I'd done all this stuff.
What did he write?
So he wrote that he was ashamed of this man that he'd watched on TV every week with me. And he'd seen my process. He'd seen how hard I worked, how much I cared, how I researched this guy, to find out his favorite candy and made sure it was in the dish, how I, did all this stuff. So the guy writes back the next day, email. I haven't heard from him in weeks. Guy writes my husband back the next day, says the check is in the lobby. Have your wife never contact me again.
Was the check the full amount?
Yes.
Was there a check?
Yes.
Damn. You're like you're almost upset that the check is there. You're like, fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And I cashed that fucking check. I walked straight from his apartment to Chase fucking Bank, full circle moment.
Right.
I cashed that check and I never wrote him again, of course. He wrote me again.
2 a.m.
Might as well have been. Just like asking about little things like, where'd you get this? I'd sent him a whole spreadsheet and everything, but I was happy to reply.
Why?
It wouldn't be.
I know my husband's like, block his shit. Don't reply. I'm like, I am a business owner who has, I believe in doing the right thing. But
the right thing is to tell him to go fuck himself. The check cleared. Fuck you. You have a spreadsheet. The right thing is not, oh my God, the right thing. It's so
I sent him all the materials. I was like, here's all the shit you need to return everything you need. I've returned as much as I can. Anyway.
He just needs your attention.
You thought this was...
There should be an app. Oh, this is great. There should be an app where, yes, you can text me, but it costs you every text. Then maybe people would, instead of sending 3 fucking consecutive nonsense, use a paragraph in one, or maybe like a character limit or something. $1 a character. And that's
my clients couldn't get away with that, but I treated him differently, and that was the mistake.
And then if it's past midnight, it's a surge price, double the amount, triple if you want. I wouldn't even be looking at my phone at 2 a.m. Sorry, I didn't get this until a normal time.
Yeah, this guy doesn't just have Asperger's, right? This is about control. Right?
Children need less attention than this. The fuck?
It got to the point where it was so abusive. Like it was just really bad. And I felt like an abused woman. I was so shamed that it has taken me years, of not beating myself up, looking back at every moment. Why did I pick that stupid canister? Why did I choose that color rug? Isn't that bad?
I get it. And it bothers me so much that I have those tendencies also. And he doubled down listening to your husband instead of you, double down on that feeling. And oh man.
Do you know what I just realized telling you guys? First of all, I should have told this to a therapist years ago. But second of all, I just realized he did what he did to me in that store.
Yeah.
Keith, that just brought it around for me. He nagged me every time. I didn't like that. That thing sucks. Why'd you pick that?
Yeah, it was almost like he was checking to see if he can do this for you. He wanted to hire someone who would keep answering his question, even though he's being a goddamn prick. Whatever. You got paid, and his words are just his words, and his text can be deleted. Fuck this guy.
Now, this is breaking you up. Now, remembering the story, when you go to your website and you look under media and you see this commercial, does it make you cringe? Can you never look at that section again?
For a long time, I couldn't say. He has a huge billboard. Oh my God. Right on the West Side Highway. He just launched a new show. And this billboard is dedicated to this fucking dude. So it went down for a little bit when his show was off the air for a season. And now he's got a new show and it's everywhere. It used to be really bad. When I drive the West Side Highway, I'd specifically look at Jersey, for a small bit of time. That's not safe. That's not safe. But now it's better. This is the first time I've actually gotten emotional about it. Besides, I don't talk about it anymore, frankly.
So it's the first time you've talked about it in a while, but that's why it's the first time.
I've never publicly talked about it except on my podcast because I was going through it. So I was like, P.S. guys, I have to tell you something really bad. But I didn't go into it because I was in the process. Right. So I didn't know what that looked like. So I never fully talked about it. I figured this is the time, right, guys?
How long ago was this?
5 years ago.
Yeah, this guy did a number on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's absolutely purposeful.
Yes.
It's I have a game we want to play, but only I know the rules and only I know the limitations, and I'm the one in complete control. First, pick a house for me. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And you know what would be even better than this somehow? That you decided on the house, you completely designed it. He walks into the house and just goes, not this house.
Right.
God, who would pick this house? Can you just move this over a block down? Thank you.
Would you tell this story to close friends and they're like, you don't say, a guy wrote you at 1 a.m, pick me out of house, ended up being a weirdo. I feel so bad for you, Betsy.
I'm shocked. I tried not to tell the story, which I think is part of the I didn't want to tell it because first of all, I really valued him. I felt like it made me look bad because he wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. And there was just so much shame, right? But, it really was the first time I put together that he was treating me the same way from the beginning.
I think we could use the word abusive.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Yeah. But, I've had thousands of clients, and isn't it horrible? Like, I've had amazing experiences. People have flown me to London. I've designed a palace in India, but it's that shit that sticks with you. Doesn't that fucking suck?
Yeah. We speak to stand-ups all the time, and it's like they had such a good set. And they're like, yeah, but there was a guy in the third row, 4 seats in, that didn't laugh once. Great set, killer, standing ovation at the end. What's up with the guy in the third row? And that's what they remember. It's so interesting. Our egos, our fragile, gaslit egos.
Right. Now, what makes you write the guy back after all this when he reaches out? You don't want you want a good name out there. Where can I go?
Please? I think that she still wants to be herself. She still wants to respond the way she would respond to a client. She still wants to finish a job if a client thinks it's not finished. She wants to come from a perspective of, when I do a job, I do it from A to Z. And so if we're at T, I want to fix it so that I could still be working in the way that I work and say that this is how I work and actually live it. Am I close?
Well, definitely. But, I changed everything to work with him. I changed the amount of money I spend. I changed my business model. I didn't have him sign a contract. The one thing I didn't change was who I am and my integrity and how much I care about my clients. I care to get to know them. I care that I transform their lives. I care that they feel cared about. When they see the book that's about his favorite sports team that's like rare and signed and all that, I care that he sees me care. And so the one thing I wasn't going to change all the way to the end is my integrity. I'm a good person. I respond to emails. I'll do what I say I'm going to do up until the end. If he emailed me tomorrow and asked, where'd you get these fucking ugly bookends? I'd let him know.
From pieceofshit.com. Fuck off. That's what I'd write. But the
thing is I know that Keith means it. He would write that in a huge way. I've envied that for years. And I actually have, a few years ago, I decided, what would Keith do? You know what I mean? That's going to be a mantra here and again, because he lands on his feet all the time, because he's not afraid to be like, oh, I'm not into this. Something's weird. You're tricking me. I don't have to do this. It's weird because I can't always do that. You can't swing an entire pendulum the other way and be Keith, but but just a little here and there. Just go, can I drop this? Would I still be me if I responded not like my usual self, which is a very weird exercise to do. But this is, I had therapy today and he told me I was too nice. So maybe that's where I'm coming from.
I wonder if when you were in the bathroom, your husband would check your phone, because you've been telling him a story that some billionaire's client is calling you at 2 a.m. Oh, really, honey? How about you make eggs? I'll be right there. Nah, leave your phone.
Oh my God, I didn't.
Well, he's sitting next to me. I'm like poking him. I'm like, he just texted me. So he was along for the ride, which is why I knew he could convey that passion in an email. Because first of all, he's a kick-ass writer. But second of all, he was madder than I was, because I was feeling like, did I really do something wrong? Did I really pick out the wrong rug? That kind of crap.
I want to see this letter. Interior, my wife's brain. turmoil floating around. Me, unable to sleep or get laid.
Yeah,
Enter
right.
me about to punch you in the fucking face.
Yeah. Well, he better be glad that this guy wasn't nice and wasn't awesome. Because as Chemda pointed out earlier, maybe I would have switched teams. Billionaire team.
He blew it. What is, let me ask you this. What is the best pillow going today?
I struggle with that myself. And that pillows, mattresses, and sofas are totally subjective. I won't pick them for my clients. They have to touch, feel, experience them on their own.
Okay, good to know. Well, this is perfect time for this. Let me mention BetterHelp. Speaking of therapy, Chemda uses it. Chemda loves it, right?
Can I tell? Okay, so like I said, I did have a therapy session this morning, and I had to explain my parents. Now, this is I have a guy from Mississippi as my therapist, all American, and so I'm saying like, hey, I don't speak to my parents, and he's like, well, are you okay with that? How do you feel about it? And I felt like he wasn't getting exactly who my parents were. So I gave him a couple of examples. I was like, well, they call me fat every time I see them. My mother said, tell me really what's going on. And I'm like, hey, I've been having a bad week. She calls me immediately back and says, I don't like that you told me you're having a bad week. You have to make me feel better or I'll never be able to sleep. She calls me constantly and if I don't pick up, she thinks I'm dead. She tells me that, when she speaks to other people, she doesn't ask about their children so that they don't ask specifically about her daughter. So all of these, and he's like, oh, okay. And I could see him going to like the new place. He's like, that's what we're working with. I'm like, okay, now you get it. It clicked over because, there are these parents that, your kid goes, hey, I'm uncomfortable with the way that you said that to me, or I don't like it. And they're like, oh, I thought about it and I'm really sorry. And, I won't do that again because you have adult children. You can have these conversations. And I'm like, no, that wouldn't happen. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. So that's where we are in therapy right now. And I'm really enjoying it.
My buddy Craig just joined BetterHelp. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but good for him. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Go to betterhelp.com/reviews and you can see how everybody loves it. So here's what you do. BetterHelp, HELP.com/KATG. That's BetterHelp, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. In fact, so many people are using BetterHelp, they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. Everybody loves them.
This guy came out of retirement. He's like, I'm retired. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm on a call with you.
Yeah. Here's a special offer for you. Get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/KATG. Okay? All right. Let's talk about this country burning up. You, of course, see clips of politicians saying, this is not who we are. This isn't who America is. Storming the Capitol, bringing guns.
LOL, that you
sitting
think
in the
that.
speaker's chair with your feet up. Yeah. Joe Biden has been on this planet for about 80 years. It is, Joe. It is who we are. And I got to tell you, I don't know. I wonder if anybody else felt this way and how stupid I sound thinking this, but I really did. When I was watching it on TV, if the news, and everybody did, even Fox News, if the news didn't tell me how egregious and insane this was, I would have been like, okay, like it's too much, but yeah, of course this is next. They stormed the Capitol. Let's see if anybody dies. And if nobody dies, which they did, 5 people died. If nobody dies, is it a big deal? I wouldn't have known if all these Congress people didn't say how horrible it was. If your regular news people didn't say how horrible it was.
Can I tell? That's so interesting because I feel like I had a little bit of your perspective, Keith. Obviously, it's bad because you're storming something. There are cops blocking you and you keep going. But Xerxes was having that same conversation with me. He's like, no, this is treason. And this is 20 years minimum. This is what the law is. And we're talking about people who are so interested in law and order that let's put this same law that they're interested in for other people. And I was like, I'm with you. He's like, look, this is the most important chair, one of the most important seats that we have. You're talking about people who are on the ground fearing for their life and people dying. And these people are shoving their way in. And I was like, look, you're talking about 20 years in our prison system, which I believe 20 months in our prison system is like feels like a death sentence in some ways. I don't want to exaggerate too much, but you're taking the voters' rights away. It's a felony. And he was like, this is exactly what it is. It's not look at this person painting their face and disrespecting exactly what they're talking about. They want a democratic system. This is what they went against today. That's treason. And they should be, committed for that crime.
I knew it was, just to be clear, I knew it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, okay. Yes, this is domestic terrorism,
Yes.
treated as such. But yes, okay. Trump said, come to the Capitol. They came to the Capitol. Yeah, oh, my mind's fucking blown.
Right. And that's what I would use in
a small fraction of what's out there. I come from Missouri. I come from a long line of rednecks. I am friends with my uncle on Facebook when I can handle it. Otherwise, I have to block him. Mm-hmm. But he wrote yesterday, better than football, Patriots versus Steelers, STEALERS, exclamation point. And so the people we saw there is a microcosm of the wave of Trump supporters and radical
and
nut jobs that are out there. And I'm related to a great number of them.
I would use Trump's Twitter in my courtroom trial. I would say, this is my leader. My leader said, go do something about it. I thought he'd have my back. He said, remember when he was running for president the first time and he said, go ahead and punch that guy. I'm going to pay your legal fees. That's my president. I would bring that up too. He said that when I work for him, he will pay for the results if they're negative. There you go. And by the way, proving me right is that Twitter took him off Facebook until he took away those provoking Twitters. So that means that there is some sort of thing that said, hey, this is not right, but you let it go as right. I responded to it from my leader.
And these are rich people, like talking about the billionaire earlier, talking about the bankrupt billionaire right now. Major personality disorders, major money. They can buy their way out of anything. This guy can get multiple TV shows, and Trump can pay to make it go away.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting there. I was watching it, mostly live after we recorded the show the other day, and you're seeing footage of when the cops opened the gates for people to storm the castle. It almost seems like a home invasion that was planned on the inside.
Yeah. What happened? Every BLM peaceful protest that gets treated like a riot before it even starts. How many I saw a post where it says this is the kind of police force, the kind of gun situation, military situation you have for a BLM march that actually has the paperwork to be there,
right?
As opposed to you're seeing them swarm almost easily. Like just like the cops backing away from them. Where's the tear gas? Where's the violence from the police that we saw people randomly get beat when it's a peaceful protest, randomly as they're walking? Didn't see any of that.
And I didn't know that, something stupid was happening where they have to pomp and circumstance and go over the electoral votes again, like we didn't know, like we're the Queen of fucking England. It's just a party for them. But people did know that. And these people with these shirts that say Civil War, January 6th, 2021, they know. And there's no reason that the Capitol didn't know. And it's very, very strange to me. So
maybe you don't know how egregious it is that you're, swarming this area. I think you know how terrible you are if you are literally pushing the press, taking their equipment and throwing it. You're not allowed to touch the press, not even in war. You're not allowed to touch the press. What are you doing?
I saw this on Twitter. The person's name is Beytwice, Beytwice. They write, why y'all keep asking where the police at? Y'all ask where Miley's at when Hannah's on stage? Great point. Great point. You say, where's Miley Cyrus when Hannah Montana's on stage? They're the same people.
Holy shit. That's great.
That one hit a little too. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Well, I just kept thinking that 2021, I wanted to get hyped up for this week and to start visioning my new year. Like I had it all blocked off on the planner and I can't think straight. Like I can't vision past next week now. Like if our whole democracy is on the brink, if people can storm the Capitol, how can I plan for my
Let me
social
tell you,
media?
the same exact way that you've been planning. You can't plan. You can plan as much as right now. You plan the same way. This country has been the same. It just hasn't, been televised like this, but people are terrorizing other people on a regular basis. This isn't.
But we need that hope, with COVID and everything. I needed a symbol of hope.
You have the same hope in that you're sitting in a very safe space right now. And this is happening just like it happened in other places. Every month something happened. There's a shooting. There's some sort of, terrorist by our own or attempted terrorism. This is happening all the time. We plan the same way because the same things are happening.
And then you see, of course, on social media, you know what? Actually, it was Antifa undercover to make the other side look bad. Then one of the protests, one of the terrorists get shot, and they go, and look, an innocent person just died. I'm like, you're just throwing out shit. So that now it's not Antifa, and there was literally 2 minutes went by. I could see your Twitter account. What the fuck?
It sounds like fake news.
Yeah. Well, yeah, why not? Our president can say anything he wants, and the next day nothing happens. He's still in the same position. Everything's still fine. Just more people are talking about him.
And I don't know if you know this, other state capitals were attacked also on that day. Broken doors, windows, stabbings. Arizona, California, New York State, Ohio, Oregon, Utah, Washington State. This was happening all over the country, this kind of thing. Let's see. I'm looking at, I see people, you probably see this too, of course, people resigning now over saying it's over this. Betsy DeVos, the education secretary, the assistant secretary for public and Indian housing, transportation secretary, who happens to be Mitch McConnell's wife. The list is going on now. White House social secretary, White House deputy press secretary. Now,
I believe it was half his staff.
You're going to be out of a job anyway
in 2 weeks.
So this is the smart way to play it. Like, Trump, like, did you leave in a disgrace also? No, when things were too much, I was out of there. Yeah, we have 8 days to go. You're out of here now. Here's a tweet that I enjoyed from Mecca, Mekka. I applaud the people brave enough to leave the Trump administration now. It takes courage. After airline flights, I too have been known to unbuckle my seatbelt moments before the aircraft has come to a complete stop. So I've experienced this level of courage firsthand. Not tricking me, you fake fucks.
It's only because now it could legally reflect on them. That's all.
Right.
Every other minute, it was just them, quote, doing their job. But now,
right.
Now it will legally affect them.
How about you can easily trick people if you did good work on your last 2 weeks. You can easily trick people if you did something positive about this pandemic. Do you know how many deaths happened that day in regard to the coronavirus? 3,900, the highest yet in America. Keep in mind how 9/11 blew your mind. That was under 3,000 dead. 3,900 people died that day.
Because also, who does work in their last 2 weeks? You were done.
And if this is their attempt to save face or to not have to take action against the president, it is just so lame. And,
yeah, it's basically really them going like, hey, I can't stay here, but you guys should really, there's like this 25th Amendment thing. Yeah. I think I'm on to that, but I got to get out of here. I have no power or anything anymore. I'm on vacation for 2 weeks.
I was just going to say, they are on the beach right now. Betsy DeVos took the next plane to Bermuda. She is peace out.
Twitter locked up Trump's account for 12 hours.
But then he used his aides.
Oh, really? He used somebody else's account? Hey, guys, it's me. Psst. Not the president. Keep doing what you're doing. Facebook banned him till the end of the term. So
You're punishing people. You're punishing the president until he's not the president anymore. That's so
For
weird.
10 days?
yeah.
Like, that is lame.
Tom from MySpace said, Trump, not my friend. And Tom, Tommy loves everybody. Well, I saw this on Facebook. I see this guy like trolls me basically, and I'm like, why am I even seeing this stupidity? So I hit like I'm trying to unfollow him, delete whatever you do. And so when I clicked on the guy's name, it says, do you want to save the post, add to favorites, hide posts, snooze, unfollow this guy, find support? So I go, I guess unfollow, stop seeing posts, but stay friends. But isn't there a fuck you button? Not friends, but deep down pals. What? No, get out of my fucking life.
You still want the numbers, Keith.
Right.
You don't want to go down to 1,299 friends. You need 1,300 friends.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, now I get it. 2 pipe bombs.
That's what I do with my uncle. You know what I'm saying? I unfollow, but I don't unfriend.
They found at least 2 pipe bombs, by the way, in the Capitol.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
But these people have AK-47s. Of course they have pipe bombs.
Right. By the way,
like my husband's like, whoa. And I'm like, that's just a part of their arsenal.
How many guns does it take to call it a terrorist act? How many pipe bombs?
Right. You're absolutely right.
Was anyone wearing hoodies? Because I think that would be the biggest issue.
Right.
No hoods up.
They had some
you know what the best part was? Here is your excuse to wear a mask. You have to in order to stay safe. But they were face wide open. Look at me, camera. This is when you wear a mask and no one's going to be like, hey, you're about to do criminal activity. Oh, getting interviewed by the press. They were like, I don't know. They wouldn't let me in this building. So I pushed through. My name is, and I live at. And it's like, what?
On Twitter, Ed Stern wrote, well, that escalated steadily for 4 years.
Well,
Kylie
and 5 people died, but think about this super spreader event. There's going to be a wave of other people who died due to the unmasked idiocy.
Yeah.
Kylie wrote, I can't believe I fired off a tweet about oat milk without checking the news first. Yeah, she looked like an asshole. Micah Fox said, dude, I've been kicked out of malls faster than this. Carmen Lagala, I know this isn't the point, but every person storming the Capitol right now is the ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to stoop to their level, right? You're a regular Betsy Helmuth over there.
She needs to go to Missouri. I've seen worse. No, and that's everywhere. I don't mean to bash the homeland.
Right. There's ugly people everywhere, you're saying.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
And it's up to what? Mike Pence. People are expecting, hey, really go after the president now that you distance yourself a little from him. This guy isn't allowed to be around other women that aren't his wife. You think he's really got to stand up to the president?
Right.
A dude that calls his wife mother. I don't think he has kids.
Ew. Oh, ew.
Yeah. He's going to be the hero. Sure. Okay.
Mother.
I have designed for one of his family members in DC. So that's interesting. Yeah. So that was super great.
Good.
Super great, actually. But there's always that conflict, right? Like I was designing for a guy the other day in Battery Park City. And he's showing me around and there's a MAGA hat. And I just immediately seize up. I just feel uncomfortable. And I know everybody needs to have their views, but in my profession, is there a time in which you say, I don't design for? It feels problematic.
How about I design this hat? Do you design the hat in the garbage?
It's an accessory on a shelf, but thankfully I didn't have to style the shelf because that may not have made the cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did they sit down for an interview with you and go, this hat, this is the concept for the apartment? Go.
Well, and then what would I do? Would I take the client?
You'd buy KKK murals and stuff, I guess, right? I don't want to know until I come in the house. You have the racist flag up and everything.
Yeah, I'll get him a first edition of Mein Kampf or something. I don't know, but
I take my job seriously.
It's hard to draw those lines. If you're a doctor, if you're anything, do you
Right.
do you draw the line? I don't draw the line right now, but it's getting to the point where
I think I understand why you would take that job, and I wouldn't want to put the blame on you for his thought process.
I'd buy like a shitty pillow and stuff,
Maybe
no,
one or two shitty pillows.
yeah, no Ectorp for this guy. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe I can change him.
Oh boy.
There's that, Chemda. There's that.
Boy.
I better get that BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com.
Right.
Oh boy.
Chemda Xerxes' birthday is coming up this Tuesday. As a matter of fact, you of course love to be a princess on your birthday.
Yes.
Do you have plans for the king?
So I asked him about plans, and we've only had one other of his birthdays during this relationship. And I know he's very low key about his birthday. But last year I was like, look, we can be low key. We're just calling it your day so that you can do your favorite things. So we went to get one thing of food from this place and walked a couple blocks, like an appetizer from this place and like his favorite barbecue place and a museum where, I don't say I'm bored and I have to go home. Like it just, just your day of nice things. We don't have to be ridiculous about it. But now we're in COVID. And so I'm like, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, what is there to do? And I'm like, well, there's still blowjobs and massages. Like you get to pick. So he's like, okay, let me think about it. And what he said is he walked into the other room to get a sweatshirt so we can go outside and smoke. And by the time he came back, I was like, so did you think about it? And he's like, what? No, I will let you know when I've thought about it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So today we have these like house meetings, like what do we need for this week for the house and blah, blah, blah. And we need to clear the hallway because when we closed down the Keith and the Girl studio, some of the stuff came here. So we're putting time aside and I'm like, oh, well, we can't do that on Tuesday because it's your birthday. And he's like, no, it's fine. And I go, oh, so we're not planning anything for your birthday. He goes, I don't want to plan anything. I go, okay, so a day off? And he goes, no, not necessarily. I'm like, so it's okay we're going to work on your birthday? And he's like, well, whatever happens. And I'm like, so do I leave my schedule open? He's like, I don't know. I don't want to plan. And I go, so I don't want to force a birthday on you. Do you not want to celebrate at all? And he's like, I do. I just don't want to make plans. I'm like, but we're adults, so I have to like either leave room for your no plans or not. And he's like, but if we're planning. I'm like, but we planned this other thing on Tuesday. Now we're planning to do work on Tuesday. So are we working on Tuesday? Now I would like to know. Oh, so then I said, okay, you don't like planning special days. Are you interested this year in steak and blowjob day? And he's like, yes. And I go, well, we're planning that, aren't we?
I am. I'm taking lozenges.
He wants you to plan it. He wants you to take over him. But that's what he's saying. It's very clear to me. This is not a mixed message. He wants plans. He doesn't want to have to make them.
I don't know that I should read that into it. I'm saying this on the show so that I can ask people and ask the audience, who's crazy? Am I crazy? Is he crazy? Are we just not hearing each other? Am I taking the day off on Tuesday? Keith,
he's chill. He's
still scared. Keith is still scared because for years I traumatized him about my birthday. So he's just on pause right now.
I got my own shit going on here.
Come on. Do you get it?
Yeah, you have to believe a person, right? So if he says
but I'm not clear on what that is. What happens on Tuesday? Keith, go.
Give a card. That's it.
Give 15 cards.
Give a card, suck some D.
Okay.
That's it. He gets blown twice this year. Merry Christmas. That's it.
And walk to a bodega and get an app, and then walk to the barbecue place and get the entree. That's the deal.
Okay, but let's say he's like, I don't want to make plans. So, and he doesn't want me to leave the day open because that's making plans, is making plans to not make plans. Okay. Can I make plans on Tuesday? Like if I planned a girls' brunch on Tuesday, is that now I'm doing something?
What's that? What are you saying, Betsy?
No, you cannot do that.
Right.
You could definitely not do that. It's so clear. He just doesn't want to have to be involved, but you can't abandon him. Like,
No,
it's his day.
I think he says what he means. I'm just not sure what he means. For example, like he hates surprise parties, and people have thrown him surprise parties, and he's like, I fucking hate this. What part of I don't like surprise parties is it, how do I say this clearer? I don't want it. I'm not being cute. Look at Keith not answering. This is amazing.
It's
Look
a lot
at
of
the bros before hoes vibe that I'm getting here. Look at this. You're not saying anything because you're on his side somehow, but you're not even sure what side that is. I just need to know what side that is.
this is a hell of your own making. Who gives a fuck?
I think some people
I didn't know
value
you
birthdays.
I didn't know
some
you
people don't.
Yeah, Chemda's you're overvaluing his birthday.
But I'm
Yes.
asking, but then I go, okay, should I not even bother that it is your birthday? And he's like, why do I have to decide that?
Well, there's that golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. Just treat his birthday how you'd want a birthday and leave him out of it.
Oh, that's
So here's your card, here's your steak, here's your blowjob, and here's your walk to the bodega. This is what we're doing. Hang on for the ride.
Okay. Keith, what? Keith, your silence has never existed in the history of us podcasting together. This is a huge volume of nothing. What is happening over there?
I'm just watching the Capitol burn. Okay. I wasn't there. I can't do nothing about the gates.
Priorities.
The news will tell me how crazy it is. But right now I'm like, look at that.
But when I said, did you want to participate this year in Steak and Blowjob Day? He's like, yes. And I go, okay, so how about that on Tuesday? And he goes, sure. And so I'm like, okay, so we plan that. And he's like, what do you need to do? Sit-ups for that? Like, just do it or don't.
I need to know, do I gargle?
He goes, yeah, probably steak. Yeah, blowjob. What? What do you want?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what we do that day. Just stretch your mouth out in the morning. Okay? We're going to have a good time.
Anyway, Keith, please, I need the day off on Tuesday, I think.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we'll keep it open.
I think instead of like a wedding planner, you just need a birthday planner so that you're not planning, he's not planning, and you've just delegated someone to do it up.
Oh my God. So he's telling me not to plan it, and then I hire a planner and he's going to like me. I don't know that that's an addition that I am adding.
You guys are going to be together
correct.
for years. You can try something new.
Okay. I'm going to not bring it up ever again. How's that? I think that's
new.
Favorite.
That's new.
Right.
Chemda's in hives over here, you know? Jeez. What's more stressful? Somebody gets your birthday right or you get somebody else's birthday right? Oh my God.
I'm just trying to understand.
When you hear these religions that don't celebrate birthdays, is part of you like, oh, that must be a treat.
No, I think everyone should be celebrated. More reason to celebrate.
Yeah, it sounds
We
happy.
planned Christmas. We're atheists. We don't believe in it. That means nothing. We can plan it on the 27th instead of the 25th. Just let me know if Saturday we're chilling or Tuesday we are.
Now,
when are we chilling?
Everything.
When are we chilling?
I am not a therapist from Mississippi, but I think Chemda is overly emotionally invested in Xerxes' birthday. Yeah. She needs to chill out a little bit as well. They both need to let go and give the task to someone else. I bet there's a listener who would love to micromanage this day.
Yeah, well, on my birthday is April 15th, and before COVID, I would do a stand-up show on that day every year. And I'm not in the right headspace. I'm in a weird headspace. So if you're dating me, I tell you ahead of time, I'm going to be a weirdo that day. And people that I would date would be like, all right, so that morning we'll just keep it easy. I'll get you a birthday brunch. I'm like, it'll go down I'll eat it weird. I have a sandwich at a certain time. That's it. We'll celebrate another day. Well, you could have a breakfast. And now it's a thing because they don't get to do that for me.
Interesting. That's what I'm doing? Is that what I'm doing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's more about them than the birthday boy.
Yes.
Damn it. So that's what I'm doing? All right. Okay. Xerxes, you were right. Okay.
No birthday for you.
No birthday for you.
Call up your ex. Fuck off. You're going to be dry as a bone. GateToTheGirl.com. Check out Betsy's website.
I'll still blow you if you want.
The website is affordableinteriordesign.com. It's the same name as the podcast and the book that you want to check out. And I recommend you go to the media section and and see what's doing there. It's very exciting. And Betsy, good to talk to you again. It's been a bit. If you want to hear the first time Betsy's been on, just type in keepingthegirl.com/Betsy Helmuth, the way you can do with any guest, and you'll hear when we first met her. And I heard it recently. That's how I know how to hang up, wall art. How the fuck would I have a clue? That was 6 years ago. But you're gonna love her, and you already do. So take a look at that also. Betsy, thank you very much.
You are so lovely, and I hope that, God, I'm sorry that I was like, what the fuck are you doing? It's what the fuck is he doing? And I get it. I'm glad you got
this was my therapy session, guys. It was. And I appreciate you having me on. Yeah, I think, Keith, you've been listening to my podcast every week. You know those facts and figures like that. I'm impressed. But it was such a pleasure, guys. You guys actually inspired me to start podcasting. I was on your podcast 6 years ago, and I was like, that was really fun. And so I immediately left the studio and literally within weeks started my own podcast. I've been going 6 years. Once a week, not every day. I know, right? But I'll keep running right alongside you, just a little bit behind, because it's pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
Well,
this was fun.
We'll do it again next week then.
Let's do it.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much.